Hey preschool, we're going to talk today about another character trait. Do you guys remember the one we learned about yesterday? Let me see if I show you a picture if you can remember. Do you remember what this one was? Dylan was using, you got it, self-control. That's right. Well, today we're going to talk about another one. And I have a Bible verse for you. It's in Proverbs chapter 13, verse 1. And it says, "A wise son heareth his father's instruction." Now, I know many of you and of your parents, and I know that they give you instructions. They tell you what to do very often. That is part of mommy and daddy's job. But the Bible tells us that a wise son heareth their father's instructions. That means they are listening. There's a word we're going to talk about today, the character of being attentive. That's a big word. Can you say attentive? Good job. Well, being attentive is showing wisdom. Do you know the Bible talks about wise men in many places, but it talks about the opposite? Does anyone know what the opposite of wise is? Yep, the opposite of wise is foolish. We used to sing that song. I don't know if we've sang that this year, but it talks about the wise man built his house upon the rock, and the foolish man built his house upon the sand. He was not very smart, not very wise. But the Bible tells us we ought to be wise. And so if we are wise, we will listen to our Father's instructions. So we're going to talk about being attentive. God says that if we are wise, we will pay attention. And if you guys I know have heard Miss Jessica say this many times in class, but especially we should pay attention to our parents. You know, God has given them to us so they can teach us. That is their job. And if you are not paying attention, being attentive to your parents, you're not going to learn very well. We should also pay attention to other people that God has put in our lives, anyone that is in authority over us. That includes Miss Jessica as a teacher, all the teachers in preschool, all the teachers at school, they're your authority. Some other people God has put in in authority over you that you should listen to. Many of you spend lots of time with grandma and grandpa, or maybe your aunts and your uncles. But there's other people too God has placed in our authority. What about, can you guess any other ones? How about the people that go around and make sure that people are obeying the laws, and they have cars that can go really fast and lights on top? Yeah, the police officers, that is authority over us. And government leaders that have rule over us as well. But we are to be attentive and obedient to the people that God has placed in authority over us. And I hope that you listen and you pay attention when mom and dad are teaching you and trying to tell you things. You see here on our picture, there's a picture of a family, a mom and a dad here, and there's a little boy and a little girl, and they are being very attentive. They are paying attention to the book that's being read to them. They're looking and they're listening. They're being very attentive to mommy and daddy. Well, we have another one here, attentive. And what do we have here? Where do you think these little boys and girls are? Yes, they're at school and their teacher is reading them a book. And you know, any time that a teacher or an adult is speaking, we should do what with our ears? What should our ears be doing while an adult is talking? That's right, we should be listening with our ears. And what should we be doing with our eyes? Yep, and they're doing a very good job of that, aren't they? They're looking, that's right. We should look where someone is speaking. And we talk about this a lot in preschool. Matter of fact, I haven't said it for a while for you guys because we haven't been together, but if I say eyeballs, what are you guys supposed to say? That's right, click, and then you look. That gets your attention and helps you to be attentive. Attentive is watching with your eyes, listening with your ears, and thinking in your brain about what the teacher is saying to you or telling you. And it's very important. And you know, when we listen with our ears and we look with our eyes where someone's talking and we think with our brain, the better, the more we use those three things, the better that we can pay attention and the more you will learn. And it is important to learn things. So today, while you're home with mom or dad or with grandma or grandpa, I want you to think about being attentive. When mommy and daddy are talking, don't just ignore them and look around and stop what you're doing and look at mommy and daddy or grandma or grandpa and see how much more you can learn and not miss by being attentive. Have a good day.